All right, so this is part 2 for this 2005 Ford Escape. We're going to go ahead and replace that MOSFET transistor in there, or IBGT they call it, but this board has got so many issues with it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pull it out. While he pulls that out, I got 2 computers here from the salvage yard, 47 bucks a piece, which we'll go over here in a minute. But we got to get the computer out, the old one first. All right, so we got the old one out, and this one is the one that's been, like I said, repaired several times by different places being shipped in. It's pretty beat up. There's no part number on this. Normally there would be, but there's not on this one. There was right here. There's nothing on here. There's no tear tag or nothing like there is on these, which I'm going to go over next and show you how to look for that tear tag information. I guess you could look in the Oasis account, but there is another way, which I'll show you next. All right, so here's our module as built data. We're going to type the VIN in, type that little security thing in, and we're going to pull up the tear tag and the as built data next. All right, so I got the VIN in. We type this little secret key crap in, stuff in, I guess. And then here is our VIN. There is our tear tag. There's our hexadecimal information for all of our modules, which you can transfer. You can save it, depending on you're doing as built data. But what we're concerned with is our tear tag of GVY7. GVY7. All right, so you always try to get the same tear tag. There is right there, GVY7 will work. This one is GVY5. It's a little different. But if you look at these, the center of the 12A650, the 12A650 is always a computer on these Fords. The LH is, and the LF, I guess that's a software version perhaps, and the 5L8A. 5L8A is the engineering number. So these computers will be fine, but we're going to use this one from here. All right, if you can see our latest calibration, you can go to Escape. It's not a hybrid. Go to, it's a model year 05. It's a 30V6. Hit submit. And there's your part number, which is the beginning, or the engineering number, the module, the catchword, which is your tear tag, and then your hardware type. The more the match, the better, obviously, but you got to definitely have the hardware type. Tear tag's the best as well. So if you looked at our mode 9 data, ours was one of these. It was a 5L8ALH. These 3 PCM. There's our tear tag GVY7, and there's our hardware LBO A52, 55, or 56. So we're good from there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to clean that PCM up. We're going to plug that one in and go from there. All right, so we got that salvage junkyard computer in. We're going to leave the key off the entire time, so that way we can not trick, but kind of think outside the box when we program this use module to rewrite the VIN, the keys, and all that. So now we're going to go ahead and hook up our battery power supply next. So our battery power supply hooked up, plugged in, and we are maintaining at 13.7 volts. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and open up FJDS, transfer a license over that we just paid 50 bucks for 2 days, which gives you unlimited access for programming modules. I guess if you had IDS, you could do that too. I'm going to activate the license. There's my license. I already paid for it. I'm going to hit continue. Got to be connected to the internet. We're going to have to hook up our J2534 pass-through here in a minute. So software license activation has successfully completed. Now it's going to open up the program. Again, make sure you're connected to the internet. Have a good stable power supply. So I'll load this up and I need to plug my J-box in. All right, so let me plug my J-box in next. All right, so I got my J-box in, plugged in, hooked up. I'm gonna go ahead and put the keys in here. Actually, I'll leave them out for now. It's gonna drive me nuts. But the vehicle's off, pass-through's hooked up. We're gonna go in here, already connected to my VCMI. We're gonna hit start new session. Hit the little tick mark. I'm gonna make the connection, which is like we got. Hit the tick mark. So right now it's gonna count down 45 seconds. It's trying to communicate with the car, but it's not going to because we have the key off, which is what we want. The pass-through's connected. We don't want it to communicate because we don't want it to pull the VIN from the salvage yard one. We want to kind of think outside the box and manipulate it, I guess. No communication was established. Set it to on. I'm gonna hit OK. So now it says, would you like to retry? If yes, the diagnostic will make another attempt. If no, it'll check for a blank PCM. So we're gonna hit no. I'm gonna say switch to on. We're gonna act like we do, but we are leaving the key off. Because we want it to take us to a special screen. I'm gonna keep going through it. I'm gonna do it 2 or 3 times. Still the keys off. We're just lying to it. I'm going to keep doing this. So it says the diagnostic test was unable to communicate. You will be prompted to select a vehicle from the list. This is what we want. So we're going to hit OK. We don't have any of these weird vehicles. We have all other. Hit the tick mark. So we have to have the PCM part number, cal number, or tear tag, which we have, so hit OK. Key still off. So now is where we type in the PCM part number and the tear tag. So my buddy's gonna go grab his phone. Since we took a picture of the old one, really you can get away with just the tear tag number, but he's gonna read me or show me, which he'll show on the phone here. 5L8A, so we're going to go 5L8A. The center is the same, and then the end is, you got to move it this way, LH. The calibration number I don't care about, but the tear tag I absolutely do, which is GVY7. GVY7, GVY7, correct? So now we're going to hit what you really only need, though, is the tear tag. Hit the tick mark. Key's still off. Says this vehicle is supported with Ford module programming. Is this it? Is it an 05 model year, 4-valve, 3-liter? Yes, that is it. So we're going to hit yes. So now we want to type the VIN in and the odometer in, but we're not going to type a RO. You could type an RO, which is a repair order. We're going to type the VIN in next. All right, so we're going to type the VIN in here next. You don't want to have the key on, because if you had the key on, it would pull the VIN from the used salvage yard one. So we're going to type the VIN in off the vehicle. Always a good idea to verify the VIN on the door and under the windshield. All right, so we typed the VIN in. I'm not going to put a repair order in. The odometer, I ain't going to turn the key on to check it. I guess I could have wrote that down before. We're just going to skip that part for now, and it should pull the data from the other modules anyways. We'll verify that later. I'm going to hit the tick mark. Key still off. Okay, so this vehicle is supported with Ford module programming. There's the VIN of the actual vehicle. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the toolbox. We're going to go to module programming. Hit the tick mark. All right, I got to update my scan tool software. Alrighty, so we're back here to module programming. We had to do an update to 123.01. So we're going to hit module programming. Hopefully it works this time. And it does. Thank God. So we had the old version. Tried to update it. If you live in Mountain Home, Idaho, do not ever get CenturyLink because they are probably the shittiest company I have ever dealt with as far as service and support. Their internet's absolute garbage. Sorry to say that, but I've been here for hours trying to download it. And I finally got it downloaded because, well, CenturyLink is, well, they're garbage. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go into module or programmable module installation, PMI. We're going to go to PCM. We're going to hit the tick mark. We're going to set the ignition to on. We're just going to skip that for now. Gathering data. From the network. Now it says turn it to off. Now we're going to type the VIN in again. All right, now what we're going to do, since we got that VIN typed in, is this VIN correct? Yes. Install the new module. Okay, it's already installed. We're going to hit OK. Got to have, you know, the battery maintainer on, which we do. We're going to hit OK. Is it equipped with PATs? Yes. This one does have PATs. We're going to have to program 2 keys when we're done. Here is where we set the ignition switch to on finally. All right, so it's switched on. Now it's erasing all the data off the junkyard computer. So I just turned key on, engine off. You see erasing it because it thinks it's, now it's reprogramming it. So what did it do there? We turned the key on, engine off. At that point, we had the key off the whole time up until that point, until we instead install a new module, did all that other stuff, answered the path questions, and then it erased it, so it cleared to wipe the computer, so we don't pull the old VIN and all that stuff. And now it's reprogramming it. And like I said earlier, I said I had a little bit of issues with the older FJDS. I had to update it, which is normally not a big deal, unless you got, you know, crappy internet service like CenturyLink. So I would not recommend using CenturyLink at all. So sorry about me going off on that, but they drive me absolutely insane. Now we're reprogramming it, so I'm going to pause it while it keeps doing that. We'll have to go through some other follow-on procedures here. Keys. I don't know if it's going to come up with axle ratio. We'll go from there next. All right, so we're almost done programming here, or reprogramming. We got to do some other screens here. So my assistant, Steve, is going to do these ignition cycles while I hit this. Steve, can you go ahead? Just watch that cord there, and let's do these cycles. Alrighty, so it says switch the ignition to off. He's going to set it to off. Go ahead. I'm going to hit the tick. So now it's doing a module programming. He's going to leave it like that. I guess it's powering it down is what it's actually doing. Set the ignition switch to on, key on, engine off. So I'm going to hit OK. It's going to be a bunch of keystrokes. Now we have some configuration settings we got to do. So now we need to find the axle ratio. All right, our axle ratio is 3.73. Now, I got that from the door sticker. There's a code 96, you equate it. Or you can go get an Oasis account. It's like 30 or 40 bucks, I think. If this isn't right, we can always change this to programmable parameters. But it is correct. Wait a minute, I guess we're not right. Because it says axle ratio is not within certified limits. Reflector position, 375 to 379. So let me check again. Alright, I'm putting a 3.75 in. I can change it under programmable parameters later. We got to verify that code's right. Oh, actually, it's a 3.77. So, what we'll do here, I just want to see something quick. Do our tire size next. All right, so I typed the tire size in, 225, 75, 16. We're going to calculate the revolutions per mile. We're going to hit the tick mark. It's not within the certified limits. Yet again, because it's probably got different tires on it. So, let's go off the side, or the sticker on the door now. All right, so now we got 235. 75, 16, because that's what's on the sticker on the door. Calculate. Well, I guess I screwed that up. Do that again. Hang on. All right, 235, 75, 16. What was the actual one on the door again?
235.
235, 70, 16. Calculated is 720. We're going to hit the little tick mark. There. So axle ratio. What other is? No, I don't want to do that. So I'm going to hit this axle ratio. Speed control not present. Tire size. We already did it. 235, 70, 16. That's what it was, right? Hit the tick mark. We can always change these in programmable parameters later if we need to with this FJDS or the scan tool. Now it's thinking again. Set the ignition off. So he's going to turn it off. Okay, do not start a program session, blow the battery because we got to reprogram, blah, blah, blah. Shouldn't that. No, it's thinking again. Key on, engine off. Don't start it, just key on engine off like you did before. Okay, now it's here racing again. It's doing this because we did a PMI, programmable module installation. Now it's reprogramming again. So I'm going to pause it for now. All right, continuing the reprogram. I'm getting towards the end here. All right, so we're coming to the end here. So we got to switch the ignition off. Ford's in their key cycles. So he's going to switch it off. I'm going to hit the tick mark. Now it's doing its power down. ignition on, key on, engine off, just like you did before. Is it all the way on? Set it off. Hit the tick mark. It says calibration has been loaded and checked. If you programmed the 6.0 diesel, we didn't do that. If required, we don't have to do a label, but that is his new software. Our part number 5L8 Alpha 12 Alpha 650 Lima Hotel. Now we got to run the PATS service function. Operation successful, programming complete. Set ignition switch on, key on, engine off. Hit the tick mark. It's clearing fault codes. We'll go through all this, and we're going to have to do the PATS. I think we can do with FJDS. If not, we'll do with Autel Ultra. We're going to have to wait the 10-minute wait time. If I would have brought the IM508, we wouldn't have to wait 10 minutes. But it's clearing U codes because when you're programming a module, it comes on and offline. Key off. Hit the tick mark. All right, so we did a PMI. We don't need the reprogram. We did all that. Programmable parameters. We can always change the axle ratio, speed items, and all that stuff later. So now we're going to go to PATS functions. So we got, there's our keys. You need a minimum of 2. This does not require parameter reset because it's not a hybrid. Switch the ignition on, key on, engine off. We're just going to do the PATS with the scan tool or with the FJDS. Take 10 minutes. Yes, we'll wait. So now we're going to wait 10 minutes. Still counting down the 10 minutes to gain security access. Almost there, so we can program these 2 PATS keys. All right, we're coming to the end. It's got 2 keys. So we're coming to the end here to get security access. The operation has been successful. Hit the tick mark. Security access granted. Tick mark. So what I want to do is I want to program additional key, ignition key, erase and program, customer spare key. No, I want to do erase all keys and do 2 keys. Hit that. We need 2 keys. You continue. Yes. So it's counting down. 10 seconds. All known keys have been erased. Now your program must program a minimum of 2. So the engine will now start to complete the following steps. Perform the steps. Don't do it yet. I'm just going to read it and then we'll do it. Turn the ignition off. Turn key 1 into the ignition on for 3 seconds and remove. Turn 2 key in the ignition on for 3 seconds and remove. Repeat 3 for additional keys. After programming, proceed to step 5 below. If any other PATS function is required, turn ignition and press the tick to return to PATS menu. If you finish all the PATS functions, after you finish, you confirm. Okay. All right. So turn the ignition off. Go ahead. Just follow my voice command. Turn ignition off. Okay, now turn the key on. All the way on, not running. Count to 3. 1, 1,000. 2, 1,000. 3, 1,000. Turn it off. Pull it out. Put the other key in. Key on, engine off. 1, 1,000. 2, 1,000. 3, 1,000. Turn it off. Pull out. Hit the tick mark. All right. All right, so it took us back to the screen. He's going to put a key in and try to start it. See if it runs. Go ahead. Starts up. Turn it off. Let's grab the other key. And then if it starts, let's let it run for a while. Go ahead. Awesome, started right up. All right, so now we got the Ultra hooked up. We could have used FJDS, but my computer's about to die as well. So no codes. The only code we have is a P1000 because it hasn't done all its test yet, which it will. Doesn't matter, that's fine. And also, we could hook up the secondary ignition probe like we did in the first video, but I can tell by how it's running. It's very smooth. It's not backfiring. You don't hear those puffs of air like we did in part one. There's no misfires or nothing. We can look at our Mode 9 data if we want. 5L8ALH is the one, yep. And the trouble codes, the continuous memory is just going to be a P1000. So this vehicle, once it pulls up, yeah, P1000. Once it does all its self-checks, that'll go away on its own. It runs great. Idle's great. No misfires, no backfires or nothing. So that is it for this 2005 Ford Escape. I know I said I was done, but I wanted to show you guys next the axle ratio and the tires and the speed control items. To show you that next, and we'll go from there. Alright, just wanted to go over some stuff again. So the axle ratio on this one is actually 3.77 on this one. So you can click other, or you can click that one, which is actually 3.77. Speed control is not present. It's got the asterisk. This is just stuff that comes from the factory. Tire size was well, you can type in a 275 70 because that's what's on the door. 16 and calculate, you get 720. Let me see the tire size here again. 235 7016. 235 7016. Not 275. So 0235 7016. Now it should go to 720. And then what you can do is you can do other. Well, we already know it's 235 7016 because that's what it came from the factory. Okay, just want to redo that and show you guys that. So yeah, just wanted to go over that again. And I typed in the odometer on this one too. I didn't show that on the video. I know it doesn't matter. It pulls it from its other information. All right, so yeah, we're reprogramming again. We're putting another module. Since we got two modules from the salvage yard, we're just going to do them both since we got a 2-day pass for 50 bucks. So we already did the first one that's in there. Now we're doing the second one. That way this guy has two good computers. All right, so we programmed the other computer from the salvage yard, the 2 keys, using FJDS again. So in the pass through. So we're good to go. We're going to plug the other computer back in. Now it's got two good computers. Alright, so I found something interesting. When you plug the original computer back in, not the original, the one we first programmed, and there's the one we second programmed, but the one we first programmed, it won't start now because of path security. So I turn the key on and you try to start it, you'll see a theft light flashing right there. So what we're going to have to do is redo the paths and learn on that, and then that'll be good. We'll just redo the 10-minute wait on that, reprogram the keys to that. It's got the new software and everything. If you ever wants to swap that one out, we just got to do the path system, which you don't have to have FJDS for that. I can use the Ultra. I got the IM508, which will bypass at 10 minutes. At least both computers will be programmed. All right, so again, the original PCM's back in. Well, the original one we programmed from the salvage yard. That's the other one there. That's programmed too. So they both got the VIN written into them. I redid the paths again. Everything's good. Here's another thing. If you ever want to go to programmable parameters, you can change your tire size, axle ratio, speed items. So you can do all that, but that's all good. So we're going to let it continue to run here and warm up. One other thing here you can do is you can go to module programming. click on the tick mark, and it says there's no later calibration. The latest level is the 508A 12A650LH, because that's what we did. So that proves that we got the newest stuff on there, and we're all good to go. So what I'm gonna do now is, again, they go to module reprogramming PCM. We already programmed it to the newest stuff. Set the ignition switch to on. It's going to tell me I have the newest software because we already did it, which is right there. So now again, I'm going to run some more and go from there. All right, last test. Got the scope hooked up just to prove. My buddy here's going to use a coil probe, go on the center one. It's number 5. And if you look, it's a good waveform. When you rev it up, like I said, that'll go away to 1. So do the other ignition coils. Go back to the middle one. It's a good waveform. Hang on one sec. There, we're on number 5 again. I had to put my trigger in a better spot so it capture it, so it won't come on and off the screen. But that's a good one there. So that vehicle's fixed. There's no misfires, no misfire data showing any misfires. So that is a fix for this 2005 Ford Escape with the 3.0.